I'm always here for it when a director decides to go all in on something. And that is exactly what Osgood Perkins is looking to do with his new horror comedy, The Monkey, based off a short story from the horror master himself, Stephen King. And you know what? This seems like it's going to be an absolute surefire recipe for a modern horror classic. But is that what we got? One of the main mantras of the film is that everyone dies. And this is definitely a movie filled to the brim with death, and generally in the most gory and over-the-top ways possible. And not knowing exactly how the next victim of the titular monkey is going to meet their end is one of the most entertaining aspects of the whole film. And while there's a little too much dependence on CGI, like seriously, stop with that shit. The deaths here are both fun and visceral in nature. The acting was mostly good across the board, especially from Theo James as twin brothers Hal and Jim, who have to deal with the legacy of the monkey that they inherit from their father, played by Adam Scott, in a quick cameo at the beginning of the film. And everyone else works here too, with no performances that specifically hindered my enjoyment of the movie. I would say the biggest negatives with the monkey is probably its script. Considering this is based on a relatively short story that already didn't have a ton of meat on the bone, it makes sense. But there are times that even with a brisk 90-minute runtime, this movie drags getting to the next salient plot point or wild death. And it also suffers from being a little too quirky for its own good sometimes, with some characters being silly or strange for really no good reason. And neither of these things fundamentally hurt the film for me, but it was noticeable. The Monkey was a blast of a horror flick that seemed to revel in its over-the-toppiness. I had a really fun time with it, and I look forward to what's next from Osgood Perkins. The final word for The Monkey is 7.5 out of 10.